To use the ancestral markers is the scientific and the most efficient way to discover the correct human history, origin as well as what matters for existence. The ancestral markers point out that our true story is that we, 8 billion actual humans, who we call modern humans, systematically came out of the Americas. The bulk of our ancestors came between 12,000 and 4,500 years ago, mostly very directly out of the Americas, and obviously that bulk and their ancestors, with us amongst them, reproduced and mixed for thousands of years. Why most of us do not recognize anything of that, is for later. First we go to what matters for our existence and quality of life. For now, a simple way to explain why we do not recognize the truth is that we are too eager to hear more of the narratives we already heard, while probably some prefer to stick to consensus over discovering the truth, partly because they think it is the shortest way to maintain their status quo. Proceeding brainstorming about what matters for continuity, first we need to have all we need, and then we also have to solve our challenges, because they are threats to our existence and quality of life. At this point we claim A. That the ideal would be that getting all we need and solving our challenges is one and the same thing. B. That when our ancestors thrived they simultaneously solved all of their challenges. So what did our ancestors do that we do not do anymore? Ancestral markers point out that our ancestors or those we descend from lived in the Americas, but our very first ancestors lived in the Amazon forest. What they did that we do not do anymore is caring for sustainability. To illustrate it better, we claim caring for sustainability was sacred for them. Since we modern humans are not well connected to basic sustainability anymore, some of their sustainability practices can seem exaggerated or primitive, this while sustainability was the essence and cradle of humanity. Not taking care of sustainability was unacceptable and would be repressed. How did they care for sustainability? They did not cut forests and instead fertilize the forests or rather their soils. This was the essence of our first and most important food production revolution. It cannot be called a true agricultural revolution, simply because it does not involve agriculture as we recognize it best. Key in that revolution are the dark Amazon earth, ADE, or rather soils. They not only fertilized soils, but locally grew soils, this on occasions to tens of meters higher. How do we know? Initially, this growing of soils resulted in what we today sometimes recognize as mounds. Because the urns with their deaths and objects still can be found in subsequent layers from oldest to more recent, this according to the build-up of these mounds. These mounds were spread out over all of the 7 million hectares of the Amazon forest, but as well along the migrations and expansions, to all over the world. The height of this mound building is at least 500 years back, but most probably 1,000 or even 13,000 years back. On occasions cultures over the world evolved these mounds in ziggurats, and on occasions in pyramids. During the time of the thriving and mouth building, our ancestors also hybridized plants, animals, and humans. This we know because our scientists clearly detect the markers of hybridizations. Those who would eventually become the elites, kind of enhanced themselves, and created kinds of classes each with its specializations, this through hybridizations. This happened at the boundaries of the Amazon forest. Inside the Amazon forest the Amazon Amarins were not or only limitedly influenced by this hybridizations. Later hybridization also happened in cradles across the Americas, one in North America, and across the Austronesian Expansions, two in India, Pakistan, and multiple Jewish populations, in the direction of Africa. Certain ancestral markers do not only point out the Amazon forest as our origin, but also point out which of the tribes got hybridized, and also to where the hybridized groups were exported to or migrated to, and how they impact us modern humans today. The PV92 transposon or jumping gene is one of the oldest and enigmatic markers of hybridization and migration. One can follow PV92 from its first cradles in the Amazon forest, which today are recognized as important tribes, along the Austronesian expansions, as well as along the population Y expansions. The fractions of this hybridized DNA still today are higher in the original cradles in the Amazon forest as well as the descendants of the first migrants, which today are recognized as the oldest indigenous peoples, but outside the Amazon forest. In the cradles in the Amazon forest, the DNA went on with for the Amazon Amarins typical markers. For the males this is Y DNA haplogroup Q. Outside the cradles of the Amazon forest the DNA went on with the final hybridization marker. For the males, this mostly is Y-DNA haplogroup C. The exported hybrids received hybridizations or mutations that rendered them black skins and other characteristics or traits that we today recognize as African. These traits are not African from origin, and can be found in the Americas as well, but they progressed along the unfolding of the already above-mentioned population migrations from the Americas towards Africa and beyond. Along these migrations and routes, the frequency of the ancestral marker PV92 goes down, meaning the influence of the origin decreases, and the influence of later tribes and cradles and their migrations increases. These migrations, which are multiple, happened contemporary with the so-called out-of-Africa migrations, of which no such markers exist. These migrations do not involve Denisovans and Neanderthals, but do involve SNPs that we today associate with Denisovans and Neanderthals. Denisovans and Neanderthal migrations were before the above-mentioned migrations out of the Americas involving PV92 and African characteristics. Denisovans and Neanderthal, as well as their SNPs, as well as African EVE DNA had been present in the Americas, and at least for the haplotype B006, in some of the highest frequencies of the world. Very probably there had been migrations before, older than these Denisovans and Neanderthal migrations, that were roughly also along the Austronesian expansion route, also from the Americas to Africa, and while these older migrations left descendants without Neanderthal and Denisovan SNPs and haplotype in Africa, these African descendants were not able to expand out of Africa. And for the eventual few that eventually did, these would be replaced in later population turnover events, like the ones described by David Reich, where also most of the European natives or residents were wiped out at worst, or absorbed at best.